All right, do we have a working mic? I'm informed we have a working live stream, so I think we're ready to start the day today. So my name is Greg Hager. I'm the director of the Malone Center for Engineering and Healthcare, and it's my privilege to be able to welcome all of you today to our Johns Hopkins Research Symposium on Engineering and Healthcare, focused this year on engineering for an aging society. I'm going to say just a few words before we head into the program today. First, I want to make just a couple of acknowledgments. So this is a symposium that has been really a collective effort to put together. So while I'm welcoming you in person, I want to also recognize my co-organizers, Beth Minot from Georgia Tech, Sara Xanthi from Johns Hopkins, and Wendy Rogers from the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. I also want to acknowledge our philanthropic support. In particular, I want to thank the Swerno family for their support of this symposium. In fact, Richard Swerno is here in the audience. I'd like to acknowledge you directly. Thank you, Richard. And also the National Science Foundation for their support and Leading Age for in-kind contribution to the symposium. So I'm going to get us kicked off for the day in a few minutes, but before that, I want to introduce Ed Schlesinger. Ed is the Benjamin T. Rome Dean of Engineering, of the Whiting School of Engineering, and Ed will just have a few remarks of welcome as well. So, Ed?
Thank you, Greg. It is my pleasure to welcome you all here today to this symposium sponsored by both the Malone Center for Engineering and Healthcare and the School of Medicine. This is a symposium that illustrates what can be achieved through collaboration, the kind of collaboration that is truly central to the success of Johns Hopkins University and truly part of our characteristic as an institution. This symposium is bringing together researchers from across Johns Hopkins, from the School of Medicine, from School of Nursing, Engineering, and more, but also the best and the brightest from other institutions as well, as you heard from Georgia Tech, the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, and so to all of you I say welcome. I think that all of us agree that we are witnessing a fundamental transformation in healthcare in the 21st century, a transformation that is really being fueled by the kind of partnership that this symposium exemplifies, and that is central to the identity of the Malone Center for Engineering and Healthcare. Over the past 3 years since its founding, the Malone Center has hired now 11 professors at all levels, Malone professors, in engineering, in various departments in engineering, in the School of Medicine, and so that too has brought together in a collaborative manner disparate areas of expertise. And together already we're seeing the fruits of this collaboration that's manifest in things like Spine Cloud, which is linking large-scale image analytics to surgical outcomes, the TrueScore, which provides decision support for improving the timeliness of treatment for sepsis, as well as a variety of systems innovations that are aimed at improving quality and workflow in patient care pathways. Today's symposium focuses on innovation in aging, an area where there is much to do, and I have to take a page from someone who many of you may no longer remember, but the actor Art Carney, who okay, some of you remember Art Carney. He once hosted he once narrated a show or documentary on the challenges facing the Social Security system in the United States. And at the end of this documentary, he said, and looking at the camera, he said, "When I speak about old people in the future, I'm not talking about me. I'm old now. I'm talking about you. You'll be old in the future." So this symposium on supporting the needs of an aging population, this is about me. This is about us. The folks who will benefit from all that you do will be those of you in the room today. So make a difference. Do good work. I do also want to recognize, as Greg did, the Swernow family, who understand the importance of cross-disciplinary collaboration and why events such as today are so important. The Swernow family has been generous supporters of the Whiting School for many years. Their support made today's symposium possible, and I also would like to recognize Richard Swernow, who's here with us today. I do wish you a very productive day. Again, welcome and enjoy the symposium. Thank you.
All right, so what I'd like to do is just spend a few minutes kind of warming up to the topic before I introduce our lead-off speaker, our keynote speaker today. So just to kind of give you a sense of how the symposium came to be. You know, why are we talking about aging, the Malone Center for Engineering and Healthcare? Why now and why us? Ed already gave kind of a sense of how this arose. So in the Malone Center, we started a process of thinking about, well, what are some big themes that we want to think about over the next decade? What are drivers that are really going to influence healthcare? And as we're having those conversations, we had lots of great ideas coming out right and left, people talking about things that excited them. But one of the things that emerged again and again and again is that aging affects all of us. It's obviously pervasive. All of us in this room are aging as we speak. And no matter where you are in that cycle, eventually aging starts to impact your health and your wellness in any number of ways. And so our realization is that, you know, when you think about older adults, that's really what will drive the future of health and wellness. The population is aging. It's a set of people like all of you in this room who have become more and more used to technology as being an intimate part of their lives. And as we age, we're going to be thinking about how can technology support me as I grow older in whatever ways that I feel I need support to enrich my life, to support my health needs, or simply to provide me connection to my family when they're away from me. So you know, I started to think about it, and I think there are any number of themes that, from an engineering point of view, are incredibly interesting to think about. So for example, we're already seeing this transition from thinking about medications to apps. There are about 200 healthcare apps per day that are currently uploaded to the App Store in Apple, and there's about 300,000 total that are already up there. So if you think about healthcare as a population, in the population, apps are already starting to play a large role in healthcare and also in wellness. But if we're not careful, we may end up in a world where, you know, as you see this gentleman here looking at all the different drugs he has to take, imagine a future world where you have 20 or 30 apps that are all trying to help you in some way. It's not a future that I certainly look forward to. And so we want to be thinking about what does that future actually look like. Same in the world of devices. So any number of devices are coming out on the market. Often these are, again, kind of building off that world of apps and Internet of Things, allowing you connectivity, allowing you ways to interact with your environment that you didn't have before. But again, what of these devices are actually well-founded scientifically? How can we connect those devices in a way that creates a holistic environment for an older adult? And of course, healthcare will always be there. It won't be just about you and your home and wellness and independence, but it will also be about times when you actually do need the advice of a doctor. And we're already seeing in the healthcare space transformation. You know, we now go online to find health information. We go online to look at MyChart here at Hopkins. We use email more and more with doctors. There's a growing use of Skype and other sorts of teleconferencing systems. And so how is that going to impact the population, and in particular the population of older adults? So these are all technology directions that are already on the road. They're already being developed. They're already, many places out in the market, are being tried in the market. But the fact is that these are technologies that are designed to help people. And so what we really need to do is to be thinking about how do those technologies impact people. And so the genesis of this symposium really was to take a step back and say, as technologists, as researchers, we can come up with beautiful ideas that it's easy for us to fall in love with and to have students, and we work on these projects, and they come out with really nice results that we can write in papers. But do they actually impact the stakeholders? Do they actually impact the older adults? Do they impact the people who care for them? Do they impact the system that surrounds that care? And so what we'd like to do in this symposium is start the conversation at the stakeholders themselves, the older adults, the caregivers, and the system that surrounds it. And so in fact, if you look at your program, you can see that's exactly how we've structured our day. We're going to start out with a keynote where we're going to have Sara Xanthi kind of frame the day a bit for us and frame some of the issues that we're going to talk about. Then we're going to be doing 3 panels, one that focuses specifically on the needs of older adults, one that focuses on the challenges and opportunities for care partners, and then in the afternoon we're going to be talking more about the systems level and how we can think about shaping the system of care for older adults. Now you'll notice that I've got up here both a Twitter handle and also we had Post-its when you walked in. So one of the things I've been told, and I actually kind of empirically know this is true, is that the more the audience participates in a symposium, the more they like it. In fact, in general, if you ever lead a meeting, the more other people talk in that meeting, the more they think it was a good meeting. So my goal was to make this the best possible meeting for you, which means that we would really like you to participate in the conversation. So if you have a thought or you hear something that you like during the day, you should put it on a Post-it note and post it, or you should tweet it, and we'll be actually following the Twitter feed. And also, during lunch, what we've chosen to do is to actually develop some focus groups so that you can actually sit at a table where you can have a conversation with folks who are interested in similar topics as you. And so as I get later in the day, I'll talk a little bit about what those topics are. In fact, just before lunch, I'll tell you what those topics are. So by the way, if you tweet or you put a Post-it note up, you can actually affect what topics are talked about at lunch today. Then at the end of the day, we'll do a little bit of kind of report out and discussion, what we've heard from the day. And then we're going to pivot to the afternoon by having some research spotlights. The research spotlights are some chosen spotlights just to highlight work in the area of aging. And that's going to actually move us into our poster session and reception, where we've got a set of posters lined up for folks that are doing work both in this area and also more broadly in engineering and healthcare. So that's our day. I hope you enjoy the day, and again, what I'd really like to encourage is to think of this really as an opportunity to have a conversation, and really for not just you to learn, but also for us to learn and help inform that original inspiration of having a 10-year vision and beyond for research in this space. So with that, I'm now going to turn it over to our opening speaker today, Sara Xanthi. So as you saw, Sara has been one of the co-organizers of this symposium, but also she's really been kind of our touchstone of somebody who's really working directly in the care of older adults. So Sara is the Health Equity and Social Justice Endowed Professor and Director of the Center for Innovative Care in Aging at the Johns Hopkins School of Nursing. She oversees and leads the center's efforts in advancing and supporting the well-being of older adults and their families using novel and innovative approaches, policies, and practices. She also holds a joint appointment in the Department of Health Policy and Management at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. Sara's received numerous awards. She's received the Edge Runner Award from the American Academy of Nursing, the Protege Award from the Friends of the National Institute of Nursing Research, the Baltimore Business Journal Healthcare Innovator Award. In 2016, she was named to the PBS organization's Next Avenue 2016 Influences in Aging, a list of thought leaders who are changing how we age and think about aging in America. Her work has been funded by the NIH, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services Innovation Center, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, the John A. Hartford Foundation, and the Rita and Alex Hillman Foundation, as well as the AARP. So with that, please give Sara a warm welcome. Sara.